Let's take few deep breaths in silence. Just wanted to check if you're able to hear my voice, because I keep getting a warning that my voice is not audible. If you're able to hear my voice, can you please say yes or no in the chat? All right, thank you for confirming. I don't know why Zoom keeps warning that my voice is not audible. All right, thank you for that. Let's resume. Sorry about that. Let's relax the body. Slowly move away from the external world with the intent of moving inwards. We spend a lot of time, energy, money in checking everything in the external world. Let's also check if everything in the inner world is healthy. After all, I reside inside. I, the tiny point of light, is not visible with physical eyes. I am a subtle energy that can be experienced in the body. Others can feel my vibrations, my love, my sincerity can be felt by others. But the one who's portraying, who's expressing these emotions cannot be seen. So I'm a beautiful energy that brings divine expression by using divine qualities. My face glows in divinity when I stabilize myself in my true original form. I travel upwards beyond the physical sky. Within few seconds, through my thoughts, I can reach my eternal home. the land of silence, nirvana, a place filled with golden red light, pure state of consciousness, tiny stars, souls everywhere. This place is full of purity and silence. Each human soul started their journey here as divine, perfect beings. And as we entered the world drama, our divinity changed. One of the easiest way to heal relationships is to look at our eternal relationship. Each human soul in nirvana is connected to the Supreme Soul, the eternal parent of all souls. We are all equal there. The form is point of light. The language is love. The home is nirvana. The parent is Supreme Soul, God. The religion is peace. There is no difference when I look at myself and others in nirvana. All the differences are here in the world drama. A story is uninteresting if all the characters are same. So yes, we took different turns in life and ended up having different characters. But the eternal truth of the soul is, it is divine, pure, perfect. And as we build faith in our eternal divinity, then faith in others emerges automatically. And when our vision becomes so elevated, then it is easy to restore any relationship. Looking at others with such elevated vision is the deepest form of regard, or a deep form of pure love that heals everything. Thank you. Sweeter than the sweetest, God, for giving me the knowledge about eternal relationships and helping me in understanding relationships more accurately. Welcome everyone to last class of this series, Healing Relationship with Kids. Today we'll focus on steps to heal relationship with kids. And like I mentioned, we'll just go over some content and then we'll spend the last 10 minutes or so in any questions that you might have. So to start off with, that it could have been a variety of different things that has caused these relationships to become sore, diseased or wounded. And it could be that we actually did not do much for that child, we never really spent too much time with them, or instead we insulted them. They might have needed our support, our guidance, they were in pain, we ignored it. There could be variety of different reasons for what we might at that time we did not realize it, or maybe we did but we felt helpless, we still couldn't do much and change ourselves. So really healing can never begin when hurting, till hurting does not end. So, yes, we are not trying to say that we don't acknowledge the past mistake, but past mistake is only for you to realize what was wrong and then move forward. It's not for you to keep going back and wounding yourself again and again. So, we do need to put a full stop to the past that has passed. And this is one of the biggest teachings in Brahma Kumari. And we all say very hard, the mind keeps going. The mind keeps going because we have not asked it to stop. We almost feel like mind is not ours, as if it is somebody else's property that has been implanted inside of us. No, it is my own tool, very important tool is mind that creates thoughts. So if it is creating thoughts that are causing my wound to become bigger, then I need to say stop, don't create such painful thoughts that are pricking me, hurting me, increasing my wound. Literally, when we create thoughts about the memory that is very uncomfortable, it is literally like taking needles and pricking it on the wound. And we cannot be so mean to our own self. So we need to be very, very careful, first of all, that yes, we could have done bunch of things, but the thing is, we need to now figure out a solution and move on. And one of the biggest things to understand is lot of these relationship issues, especially very close one, and parent and child is one of the closest. I think the next one would be the partner, between the two partners, right? Husband and wife. These two relationships are the closest relationships, and lot of pain and sorrow happen in this relationship because the closer the relationship is, the higher is the expectation from each other, and the higher are the chances of those expectations not being met. And because you interact day in and day out, that means chances of us getting hurt becomes higher. So when in this long journey of life we've had multiple interactions with this soul that have been for whatever reason painful, one of the biggest problem is, even though when we understand the light of knowledge that thinking about the past is not going to help, constantly talking to others about these problems will not help, we understand all the knowledge points, but the soul has lost its power, lost the ability to love and forgive, because it's been hurt too much. It's been yearning for love for multiple births. It's not like we've not gotten love, we have, but the genuine love. the soul has not received for multiple births. All our relationships are really based on heavy expectations. There is a lot of selfishness, whether it is parent child, husband and wife. Really, that pure, sincere love is not there anymore. So, there is a deep desire of the soul to be genuinely loved. Until it doesn't receive that love, it finds it very hard to forgive those people who were supposed to give the soul that genuine love. And God is the seed of the entire human tree, the human world tree. And when we realize that He is the seed through which the first birth or the first generation of the human beings come out, and that is why it is said God made His children in an exact replica of Him. So, that first generation of people who came out through God's teachings and God's upbringing, they were just like Him. And then obviously more and more and more than these first generation created their own generation which were more like them, and with long time, as if you think each of these branches as a generation after generation, then the divinity was getting lost as we moved further away from the God's first creation to then, these are like deities, godlike people, then the deities creation, and then deities grandkids creation, and blah 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 by the time we come here. And it's literally just a evil human creation is what it becomes. There's a lot of evilness and very little divinity left in humankind in today's world. So when we connect to the seed, then we automatically are able to connect to all the leaves, right? This is the essence of the tree. The seed has, if the seed could talk, it has the essence of the entire tree. What type of leaves will come, what type of fruit will come, how will the fruit taste? Every bit of information is locked into the seed. The potential of the tree is locked into the seed. So when we connect to the seed, we will know everything about the tree. So when we connect in Raj Yoga meditation, the human soul, connects to the Supreme Soul, who is our parent or is the seed of the world human tree. So, in what we are doing now is a lot of hard work where we are trying to connect to every leaf, every human soul. We are trying to please them, understand them, help me and make them cooperate with us. At Brahma Kumaris, we are taught a lot easier way. Connect to the seed, the source, and then every leaf will automatically connect to you. It will cooperate with you. So, for me, in this last 6 or 7 years now, my whole practice has been to really understand the ocean of love, God, to connect to Him, to receive His love, and really not consciously try to seek human love. Yes, they all love me and I love my family, but I'm not seeking, I'm not demanding, I'm not expecting love from human souls, because every human soul is yearning for love. They don't have it to give it to us. So, smarter thing is to connect to the source, who's the ocean of love. And so when we establish that love link with God, then and we start pouring water of love. So in Raj Yoga, it's not just connecting to God, but it's really deep love for the Supreme Soul by understanding His knowledge, by understanding His virtues, and by understanding what are the attainments by this connection. And as we start pouring water of love in this connection with the Supreme Soul, the fruit The reward from that tree is we get cooperation from all the human souls. We will have heart to heart connection with every human soul. Now, instead of trying to build connections, heart to heart connections with 100 human souls, it's a smarter work. Just build one connection, and then automatically every other connection will build. And few beautiful things about the divine love, that once we forge this pure um, relationship with God, then we will start seeing all kinds of perfection that is locked within us will start unlocking. We the human souls are the most elevated creation. We don't realize it, but God's love enables us to realize our beauty, our inner beauty. Um, and You'll start also seeing how everything will start falling in place. And there is indeed no greater power than a heart that is filled with the most beautiful being, the divine being's love, God's love. So, as we start healing ourselves in meditation, in the Rajyoga meditation, then it becomes a lot easier to follow the steps in meditation. So, steps to heal, just simple 5 steps here. So, in our current situation, we might be sometimes going through the pluses and minuses of blaming, that maybe the child is at fault too, or maybe our partner is at fault too, or maybe our parents are at fault. That's why our relationship with the kids are at fault. And I think even before I have mentioned, every time we blame someone, then suffering will continue. Blaming is, there is a guarantee. Anytime you blame, the guarantee of that blame, that action is suffering, because you are then putting the responsibility of that suffering on somebody else. Until they don't change or till they don't do something, you are going to continue suffering. And as many there are many quotes, one finger is pointing at the other person, blaming them, but then the other 4 fingers are pointing towards you. So even the language of the body is pointing problems on our side, more problems on our side. 4 fingers are pointing towards us and only one towards someone else. So we need to be very careful with this. So the first step is really to accept. And here we are not trying to say the child is also responsible. It's not like only I've tried from my side. We are not trying to say that the child is not at the fault. Could be. But spirituality is really, it's an education of the spirit, which is we all are. And we are learning it means we need to practice it. We can't impose it on others. We can try telling them the benefits, but everybody's time for spirituality is different. Then the second step is, instead of really being guilty, realizing that either I didn't spend enough time or I was never really there, I didn't do much, never cooked, never dropped them to school, never took them to classes, or never had a good time sitting with them, having a conversation, was always too busy at work, whatever that variety reasons could be. This is a very bad way, because guilt is a direct attack on our self confidence, on our ability to love and regard ourselves. So, when we have such kind of an attitude towards ourselves, we have no room to correct the mistake that we might have made. And the reason I talked about Raj Yoga meditation before starting the steps is, it's very hard for a soul who is weak, who's yearning for love, who's yearning for other people's recognition and respect, to accept that they are at fault. You're already feeling weak. You are in no position to accept that I could have made a mistake. It's not at all easy, and many people fail here. They would rather point fingers at someone else than take ownership and responsibility. And if they take responsibility that I made a mistake, this is what they do to themselves. In many religion, it is taught anger, hitting others, being mad at others is violence. It is utter violence. Then isn't it violence if I'm attacking myself? Blaming myself, how could I do this to my child, or why didn't I be there for my child? And if I'm calling myself rude, selfish, then am I not being violent towards myself? That is not religion either. So the first practice of religion needs to start with the self. I need to be kind and respectful in the way I treat myself. That is when I can practice religion on others. So instead of being this towards myself, I need to do the step two. Admit to my own self that I was at fault. And if I am in a position to go and talk to my child and let them know that I'm very sorry, that I'm feeling bad for what I did, yes, let's be ready for that as well. But sometimes situation might have gotten so complicated that we are not even in a position to go and talk to them. And we don't need to if we are not in that position. But at least forgive your own self. Don't wait for others. This is the key foundation step to fix your past mistakes. You cannot correct your mistakes without really giving yourself that faith and that love that you can change, you can fix things. If you don't even maintain that faith and that love for yourself, then you will never be able to correct that mistake in the past. So, love is the ingredient for transformation. If you don't love yourself, you cannot transform yourself. Because hating yourself means what? You can never change, Meghna. You're such a rude person. You will always be like this. Nobody is going to like you. You did something like this to your kid. If I'm talking like this to myself, is there any chance? Is there any even room for me to change? And moving on to the third step, sometimes we get very desperate, very desperate. We want our child's forgiveness. And we will keep trying in many different ways. We'll go out of our way to do things for them, to buy things for them, try to spend time with them because we realize our mistake. So we become very desperate. And this child is not wanting to do anything with us. They're still avoiding. The more we try harder, the harder they want to move away from us. One of the deepest laws we all need to be aware is if there is inside this energy where I have not forgiven myself and I'm holding myself responsible for my child's current state, could be my child's some part of the development could have been better if I was involved or I spent more time, and I'm now sitting and blaming myself and have not forgiven myself. This vibration reaches my child. In a way, I'm telling my child, don't forgive me. I have not forgiven myself. I don't deserve forgiveness. Then this child will never be able to forgive me. Really, first thing is I have to forgive myself and then also create a plan on what can I do now in the present to resolve that issue, and then go and ask for an apology to your child, but without any expectations that they will forgive you. It becomes actually irrelevant if you've asked for forgiveness and you've already forgiven yourself and you're working on correcting that mistake. This child will eventually realize and will be able to forgive you. But it becomes immaterial at that particular point because you have learned. Really, the true apology, the meaning of it is you can forgive yourself because you have the intention of changing. You've deeply realized your mistake. Such a person is automatically forgiven. And instead of, constantly only going, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do, I shouldn't have done, constantly telling this to the child, we have an option to send healing, pure vibrations to our child. And this realization comes, if the child is hurting and is not willing to talk with us, spend time with us, is in fact avoiding us as much as possible. When the child is doing all this, it's a very clear cut indication that the child is suffering. And indeed, as a parent, when we see that they are suffering to some extent because of us, we do feel bad. So, in this point, talking really does not help as much. Obviously, if you're in a position, do go and talk and tell them, whatever happened and why you should have not done and how you feel about it and how you want to make up for it. But the other part we can do is in meditation, bring up their soul image, which is just a point of light. Visualize that in their forehead right here and send them this healing vibrations that hope you are able to forgive so that you can forget the past bitter memory and you're able to stay happy, comfortable, emotionally healthy. It's only when they realize that, it's only when we realize very deeply that these vibrations can actually heal the others a lot faster than our word. That is when we start practicing it. Every day in meditation, we can bring up our kids or any other person with whom we have some wounded relationships to heal each other. So, if a child is hurting and is not forgiving you, rather than feeling sorry for our own self, we should also look at their plight. It's a young, innocent child or a young adult who's going through a lot of pain. So, instead of just looking at our pain, we also need to have a sympathy or a soft, gentle heart for them. And when we understand how painful it is for them, that is when we get ready to start sending them support, this emotional and spiritual support in our meditation. So, here again, we take the power from the source. God is the source of spiritual power. There is nobody else in this planet who has unlimited peace, unlimited love. I think nobody has any doubts about that. But if you feel there is a human source that is source of unlimited power and peace, please do feel to ask that question or share your answer in the chat or Q&A. But the source of all spiritual powers is only one and one God, because God never comes into the cycle of life and death. And that is why never forgets who he is. He always remembers that he is an ocean of love, peace, joy, truth, purity, powers. And that is why he's also able to share it with us. He is already complete. He doesn't need anything from us to be completed. And that's why this is the only soul that is always a bestower, never becomes a beggar or someone who's demanding, requesting. He's always donating, bestowing. So when the soul receives the spiritual powers from God, that powers become the healing um, trigger for the child. And last step is really realizing your eternal relationships. This is something that we practiced in the meditation also today. This is a very deep practice that I have also been inculcating in my life. I take out early in the morning, I certainly practice this a lot, but I also throughout the day, going and seeing my eternal form. Where have I come from? This is the picture of Nirvana, which is here is the Supreme Soul, and these tiny dot like, star likes being are we all human souls. And the whole practice here is that when I see myself here, I see myself that we are all connected to one source. We are all brothers because our parent is one. The eternal parent is the Supreme Soul or God Himself. So here we are really equal. This is a place of pure consciousness. Our home is just a home full of divine light. Nobody who has some kind of vices or sins can enter this place. So when we are here, each one of us is a perfection. Our persona is divine. So again and again, I go back here and I see myself as a perfect, pure being. Even if I have committed mistakes, done something not that great, I don't give up on myself because this scene is very clear to me. This is my eternal truth that I'm a divine being, a child of the divine himself, God. And the other reality that is also true about the soul is that when the soul comes down to the physical world, the world drama, then our role is very, very unique. And yet it is special in its own way. Each one has a special role to play. Nobody's role matches another person's role. It is different. We are playing unique roles. And ask yourself, how much do you expect your kids to be like you or not to be like you? Either one of them happens many times, right? So it's important to check. Ask yourself, do you expect your child to be just like you? Or, or do you feel they shouldn't be like this, but they should be like this? So we have to again and again remind ourselves that role is different. Even though it is my child, it's only this birth that this child is mine. Next birth, we will be complete strangers. Possible we might come into some relationship, but there's also a good possibility that we might be strangers. Husband and wife could be strangers next birth. Parent and child could be strangers next birth. I am in some country and this parent could be in a different country. Possible. We all know completely possible. Today, who is not connected to me at all, who's a stranger, complete stranger, tomorrow might be my closest relative. Possible. Completely possible. We have to become detached. We are too attached. My child, my this, my that, and that mine creates lot of hurt, because mind means what? Should obey me, should prioritize me, should do whatever I am telling. All of these things, when they don't materialize, they end up hurting us. So we need to keep going back that yes, in this drama, each one of us, previous birth, I could have gone through some water related incident which caused me to become extremely fearful of water. Or I could have gone through a trauma while driving, some kind of a terrible road accident. Or I was born to extremely rich parents that didn't let me do anything. Entire life was a golden spoon in my mouth. Now I come to your house where everything you have to do every work by yourself. Doesn't it seems foreign to me? I don't understand what is this about doing your own work, because I never did. Even my hair was not combed by myself. My servants used to comb my hair. There are people who were brought up like that. They will not even get up and switch on the light. They will call the servant to switch on the light. So there is a variety of roles, and due to that role, there are variety of experiences. You come into contact with different people, different connections, different situations. And while you're handling those situations and people, you develop a unique personality. So very important to respect whatever personality is coming in front of me, and not to judge them that how can you be like this, so lazy, doesn't know how to do any work. Only if you looked at their previous life, which we can't. But that is the beauty of the spiritual knowledge. It gives you a third eye where you don't need to physically see what happened in that previous birth. You can use the eye of knowledge to understand. Nobody's personality is a coincidence. Suddenly I get up tomorrow and I'm lazy, and then day after tomorrow I get up and I'm extremely hardworking. No, it is not like that. We all know it. There is a whole process, internal process, that is happening as a result of external turbulence in my life that develops inside. So we need to have lot of compassion and mercy, not only for others, but even for ourselves. Many times we are too harsh on ourselves. Why is this person always so positive? What did I do? Why am I always so negative? Sometimes one of my close relative will tell me, you are always so positive. I wish I got your mind. I wish I was like that. There's no need to feel if I'm negative. There is a reason behind why I'm negative. And if I am positive, there is a reason behind it. It's not like it's just God gifted. But the beauty is, don't look at the drama and understand your personality or others' personality. Look at here. The potential of each star shining here, the human soul, is infinite as much as God's. Should I look at this or should I look at the drama and give up on my relationship? We have to look at our eternal truth, the potential of the seed. God is the seed. I am one of the leaf of the human world tree. People who realize their potential will unleash every bit of power, resources from inside. How much we rely on external resources these days. For everything, we are dependent on objects, science, gadgets, people. But deep within us is a treasure store of resources. Resources that can solve the problems in life like this. But we rarely rely on that. Instead, we need psychiatrist, therapist, friends, relatives to tell us what should I do with my child. I have this problem. This is going on, right? So when we deeply understand the spiritual knowledge, the complete truth of who we are, then relationships will become very, very smooth. And I have shared in previous classes as well. Indeed, just like all of you, even I had some relationships that were not perfect. Again, fortunately, not too bitter. Doesn't mean I might not have in previous births some bitter relationships. I'm sure there were many. But this knowledge helped me heal everything, not just in my mind. Even the other person's mind changed without me speaking a single word. But this knowledge gave me so much clarity that and God's love healed all the hurt I had created. Nobody can create hurt inside of me. I created it. I was yearning for love. And when I received it, it healed majority of it. And this knowledge helped me understand why people were the way they were and how every person is beautiful. And so my whole intent here is to understand and help you also feel this inner enthusiasm that any relationship can be healed. And really, life is too short, and love is one of the most beautiful emotions that a human being can feel. And when we have pain in our heart or guilt in our heart, there is no room for love. And the only eternal healer is indeed one source, one spiritual source who doesn't need anything, who's always complete, who's unlimited. When that healer touches you, it he will also instigate the healer within you. That is, you will stop hurting yourself, attacking yourself through guilt. You will also learn how to forgive others easily. That is what healing is, right? Restoring back to your original form, healthy form. So, God is that eternal, supreme healer who will instigate the healer inside of you, and then you will heal your own self, and your healing will enable others to also heal in those relationships. So it's a fantastic service to yourself and to many others who are yearning for love. With that, we are coming to an end of the series. Next month, July, we don't have any parenting classes, and then we resume again in August. And so we will send you an email about the August classes when they will start. And we do have a Rajyoga meditation course starting next weekend. Sorry, not next weekend, but the weekend after that, July 10th. If you haven't taken the course, highly recommend it. It's again offered for free in Hindi and in English. And we've also started a new service, which is basically Brahma Kumaris is willing to hold free well-being webinars. This webinar could be for 30 minutes to 2 hours long. You can come up with what topic you want Brahma Kumaris folks to come and talk about. Um, Completely, you can customize the requirements, whether you want meditation only session or a little bit of Q&A session. These are some sample topics. We can come and hold webinars at your workplace. So you can reach out to us. Here is the address. You can go to our website and you'll find svbrahmakumaris.org/wellbeing, and you can request what kind of a webinar you want at your office. With that, we come to an end, and I'm happy to take your questions if there are any. Um, so the question here is, what kind of thoughts do we generate, and how long should we send the healing energy? So here really the thoughts could be are again, first of all, to stabilize yourself as a point of light. Bring focus here, see yourself as a soul, and even though the other person's face might come, again try to look at the middle of their forehead as a star. And first time practicing, it might all be a haze. You might not be able to clearly see anything, so don't spend too much time just trying to think of yourself as a soul and other as a soul. The simple thoughts could be as simple as, I'm just giving random here. Some example thoughts could be, I completely acknowledge that I could have done things better here. Say whatever that could have been. And I apologize that I was not there for you, or I could not give enough time for you, or I was not the support that I should have been, or I hurt you. Say that. And then, for your own sake, I hope you're able to forgive me. That will only relax you and will cause you to feel light. So, for your own sake, I hope you're able to forgive. And I send you lot of good wishes, lot of love, lot of emotional wealth, emotional health for you. All of these things we can certainly give it to them. Any other questions? Let me also unmute you all.
Shanti,
Om Shanti.
I had a request if we could do a similar meditation, the ones you are talking about, just as a brief, like guided meditation that might help us.
Sure, sure. Um, it's just that it becomes, if it is, you can actually search for it online. Healing meditation, and I'm also happy to look for it and see if I can find it. But because it yes, we can do one sample after this session today. It has to be really your own custom subject, so fill it with that.
I thought that it would be individual, like what you
Yes,
would be thinking about, but just as a brief, I don't know.
sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Any other questions?
I have a question. So one of the my child is away from me for some time, because of work commitments. I get to meet my child only, like few days in a month, and I carry this guilt that I'm not there for him. I just want to know from a spiritual perspective how it is okay, to be away from your child and, using different techniques, sending positive vibrations, just to, to be able to be there for the child in spirit, if not in person.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it is not feasible, right? I mean, obviously, if there if there was a feasibility, then you would try and be there for the child. But the role is such that, suppose your role is such that it is not feasible for whatever variety of different reasons, valid reasons, could be rules related reason, right? That you're not allowed, then the least you could do is, which is actually a lot more powerful. A lot of times in physical closeness, we end up damaging a lot more than giving. So this is spiritual, where the child will never directly realize, but there, if they have any hurt feelings or anything that that you should have been there for them, it will all go away if they receive true, pure good wishes from you, sincere, consistent wishes, not like once in a blue moon where you remember, but every day where you take out time, where you really want to be there. And you're not, but you're taking advantage and sending them this sincere good wishes actually are the strongest blessings for a soul that protect them in the time of need. In that time of need, you might be physically close, but you won't be able to do anything. It is such a return of their karma that only some strong good deeds and blessings from someone can prevent this soul from going through that bad energy that is coming back to them. So when you really see that, when you realize the importance of your service, you'll never feel guilty of not being able to. And it is important because it's not like you're not wanting. Obviously, if you're able to, if it is allowed and if it is feasible, then yes, there is very much, it is very much important to have that physical connection too. But if it is not, this is not any less, and it will cause a lot of unsettling in the child's mind if you are restless, that I'm not there for you, I'm not there for you, I should have been there. This is really creating a strong vibration in the child that my mom is not there for me, versus you creating this strong, being strong here, and instead of getting emotional, being strong, that no, I am there for you. But at this stage in the world drama, I can only be there spiritually, and mentally I can be there for you. Physically I can't be there. This is how it is right now, but it doesn't matter. We women are very strong, and we should take advantage of our inner strength and not become emotional.
Thank you very much. This is very comforting.
Yeah, knowledge at Brahma Kumaris is very soothing. That's how I find it, at least. It always gives us a very positive outlook, and it's not just blind faith, positive outlook. It's the truth. It's the truth. We need to be practical. Sometimes situations are very difficult. How can we be good in that? Um, all right, we are all out of time. Um, so if you have few minutes, please stay back for a short meditation, and we will do it in that format of sending vibrations to the other soul. And like I said, we don't have classes in July. So from next week, we will not have class, but we will resume again in August. And we will send emails to all the registered folks. So here I go with the meditation. And please mute yourself if you're not talking. Thank you. Let's bring attention to the middle of the forehead, between the eyebrows. This is where I sit. This is where I, the deity of love, sits in the temple of this body. A tiny, shining star. I am an embodiment of love. Love is my expression, my language. I am the child of ocean of love, ocean of mercy, ocean of forgiveness. God, His property is my property. If He's the ocean of love, I am the master ocean of love. I bring up the image of my close relative with whom my relationships are wounded. I see the shining star in the middle of their forehead, and I immediately create a thought. The soul is also eternally loving, is a divine, beautiful being. Unknowingly or knowingly, I caused pain. I brought sorrow in this soul's life. I was spiritually ignorant. I didn't have the powers or the knowledge to stop myself. I sincerely apologize to you, my dear fellow soul. I wish I had the knowledge, the powers before. I learned to forgive myself. Without forgiving myself, I couldn't have come to you to ask for your apology. For your own sake, for your own good health, I hope you are able to forgive me. My heart only has good wishes for you. I hope you're able to love yourself fully. I hope a lot of happiness and joy comes to your life. I hope all the pain is forgotten as I'm sending you Lord of God's love. I hope God's healing love heals you and makes your heart warm again. Every soul deserves to be respected and loved. I hope you're able to forgive and love yourself fully again.